So the other day, I made a comment that I was a little bit salty over the fact that we don't have king cakes up here where I live. Instead, for Mardi Gras season, our stores are filled with these Pączkis. They're basically donuts. They're prune-filled donuts with sugar on top. But they're not even the colorful sugar on top. They're not big messes of frosting. They don't have any like tiny baby choking hazards inside. It's like, where's the fun? Where's the fun in that? And it turns out that people have opinions about this. And I also learned that I shouldn't dish the donut. But during the course of this conversation, a friend of mine shared his king cake recipe with me. And another friend said, well, hey, I've got these little plastic babies. You can come by and get one. I thought, yeah, I want my cake. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. And I can make one. Like, how hard could it be, right? Right? So I'm starting off my adventure today, and I'm on my way to my friend Monica's house to get a little plastic choking hazard. So this is my friend Monica, and she so kindly mentioned that she has a little plastic baby for the king cake. And now that I'm here in her studio, I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I almost don't even want to bake the baby in the cake or anything like you're traditionally supposed to, because there's Monica makes what she calls little shrines, and these shrines are amazing and powerful and so meaningful to so much of what you've experienced in your life, in your personal healing journey. So I was excited when I came here. I was excited to take, have this little baby for the king cake, but now it's just taken on so much more depth of meaning. And I've been listening to Monica's story and looking at all of these amazing shrines. And I have a lot in my heart and my head now that I think I'm going to have to digest and process. Maybe as I'm kneading the dough, I'll think about it some more. But thank you, Monica, for offering that. And when did you start making these little shrines? Like, how long has it been? Because you've always been an artist.
I've always been an artist, and I've always been a collector
Okay.
also of tiny things.
Tiny things and,
Yes.
and vintage things. And...
Yes. Mm-hmm. I think that I started working three-dimensionally about 20 years ago. Oh. But had to take, that hiatus when we adopted our first daughter. But really got back into it, dove in head first about 9 or 10 years ago.
And now you have this great space. Did you add this addition on?
We did.
Specifically for this, right?
We did.
I think that's so exciting. She's got her own really, really cool studio space here to do class. You've done classes too, right? Like having other people take them kind of through their own personal journeys and create their own shrines. This is so cool. So I'm going to show you a little bit around here. This is just a little bit of her workspace. And Monica, I know you were saying how you're embarrassed because everything seems so messy, but I think it's fantastic. Plus, it makes me feel so much better about my workspace, which is yours, trust me, is not messy compared to what mine is right now. But we've got some just amazing finds, amazing, beautiful things. Some of what you have up here, these are things you've collected to be used as they inspire you and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. I could totally get lost in here, and I would start, I don't know, it's one thing that you mentioned, you were talking about like in your own healing journey, that the shrines that you make are like metaphors for life and for healing, and that you said you take vintage items and then create a new story. Yes. And I love
yes,
that.
I feel like there is already a story in a vintage item, but when I can combine it with something else, I can make a new story. And a lot of times it just comes down to being a healing story.
It is.
Even when I try and do other things, it comes back to that. a lot of what I do too is I tend to go back to the feminine quite a bit. And I feel that that's not only healing for me as a woman, but for my ancestors as well. I've got um, things in my family that I know women were not allowed to live their own life. And so I feel like I'm doing part of that work right now. If you want to, now we can't show my sister this, but I'll show you. This is a rough for a piece that I'm making for my sister down here. And that that angel with the two children.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that image?
I have seen that image. I used to have a nightlight that had that image on it, like a cameo type thing.
Yep. Well,
that's my favorite.
That image was in my house when I was growing up. It was in my grandma's house. So that has special meaning.
It's an ancestral piece.
Yep.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I love, though, like when you speak to that, I do believe that these objects and things have spirits, and they have their own stories. But I really like the idea that it can translate out, in a sense, to our own personal stories. Like maybe we might be feeling a little vintage lately. I know I am. But the thought that you can still take what's there and take the beauty that's still there, and maybe lose some of the drama or trauma associated with it, and create a new story, put things together in a different way.
And I love vintage pieces that are broken.
Yeah.
Because I tell my friends, don't throw things away that are broken, give them to me, and I'll make something from them.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my baby. Look how cute that is. So tiny. Definitely a joking hazard, but it's cute and it's purple. So I got my baby and I'm ready to make this king cake. My friend Ron gave me a recipe for king cake that he's made before. So I'm going to go with that one and try it. Start with, I guess, we're going to start on the stove. It said to add butter and some sugar, quarter cup. And then it asked for 8 ounces of sour cream, and I actually have sour cream. And this is 16-ounce container, and I don't know, it's been used. I mean, we've used it, so it's not a full container. 8 ounces. I don't know, I suppose there's a cup equivalent that I could look up, but I'm not going to do that. Let's guess. Let's go for it. I'd say, looks like 8 ounces to me. We're going to go with that. Now, for anybody who actually bakes, and I mean, I bake, I do, but I tend to, as you see, not necessarily measure as well as I probably should. So that means that, it's a risk. Sometimes it turns out awesome, sometimes it does not. This recipe didn't say how much yeast to put in, and I couldn't really remember how old the yeast was, and God forbid I should actually look at the expiration date or anything, so I just threw 2 packets in. That might be overkill. We're going to melt this up, and then we're supposed to put it in a mixing bowl. Add the yeast, an egg, and then we throw some flour in. So that's what's next. Okay, so I rolled out the dough, roughly 12 by 22, and spread some butter on it. Tossed that baby in there. Rolled it up longways to make basically a giant donut. And the thing I noticed is joining the sides. I don't really know. I'm not very good at doing that kind of thing. So I'm kind of thinking that's why they have such gaudy frosting and sprinkles all over everything to hide that seam. At least that's what I'm going to be doing. This goes back to rise again, and once that's, I think, roughly doubled, we're going to toss it in the oven at 375 for about 15 minutes. Well, it's done. It's very heavy. I don't know if you can feel this. It's like kind of brick-like. I'm not so sure about this. As I was doing it, I'm thinking about all of these things that I probably would do different, but that's all right for next time if there is a next time. For now, I think we'll just have some fun. I found some sprinkles that I have. I do have some purple and green. The only gold I have is a little bit different. I don't even think. Oh, I haven't even opened this one. So that's a new one, the gold one. Get that open. But this is the fun part. So I can maybe hide all of the sins. I just made up a glaze-like frosting. You know what would be really good is a cream cheese frosting, I think. I have a really yummy recipe that I do for gluten-free cinnamon rolls. And I think that if I ever did this again, I would use that recipe. It's a little tricky to handle, but I think it would be delicious. It would be really soft. I know that one turns out fluffy and soft. This feels like perhaps I overworked it or something. So anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about it. But this is going to hide a lot. And now we get to throw some sprinkles on. So we're going to do green, purple, and gold. Green. You know, I should be doing this with my grandkids. They would absolutely love making this mess. Not that I don't. I hope that it's not like a little briquette. But even if it is, what the heck, it's sugar, so. Alright. Oh, it looks pretty good. Look at the cinnamon swirl. Good swirl. I'm sure it'll taste fine. Frosting does anyway. Oh well. This has been a really fun experiment. So Pączkis for Kingcake, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's fun to celebrate. So I'm gonna enjoy.